Lysa Heslov, you made your directorial debut with the documentary Served Like a Girl. Tell us a little bit about the film and what spoke to you, what made you want to direct this documentary?
Well, Served Like a Girl is about the journey of 5 veterans as they compete for the title of Miss Veteran America, which is a competition that was started by a homeless female veteran in order to raise awareness and funds for homeless female veterans. I never had any intention of directing it. I was interested in getting back into producing and just started shooting footage, and it happened by default.
Right. You say the words homeless female veteran, and
yes,
that doesn't sound really right to a lot of us. The fact that someone can be a veteran and be homeless.
Yes.
Can you talk about some of the problems that are highlighted within this film?
Well, I think you just brought up the main point, is the fact that, the majority of us, when we think about homeless veterans, we automatically think about, a man possibly suffering from alcoholism or mental illness pushing a shopping cart. We don't think about the fact that women are coming back from combat with PTSD. They're having a very difficult time transitioning back into civilian life. And they're suffering. And I think they really, truly are the unsung heroes.
And in a lot of these cases, some of these women have been sexually assaulted during their time in the military. And that's another problem that you highlight in the film. Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, so we do have a couple of the women who did suffer military sexual trauma. I wouldn't say that the documentary is specifically about women who suffer from military sexual trauma, but I think that is a part of what's going on for women who are deployed, and I think that it's it's a dirty little secret, and I think that with great docs like The Invisible War coming out and other documentaries, I think people are finally starting to realize what's going on over there. But they're rarely prosecuted. I think when a woman who suffers from military sexual trauma knows when she reports it, she's going to get a lot of pushback. She's going to feel a lot of shame, and quite often her military career will be over.
One of the great qualities about this movie is the way in which we as an audience learn about these women's lives, not just some of the struggles that they face, but who they are as people, their senses of humor, where they come from. Can you talk about you as a documentarian getting to know these women, what that was like for you, and putting that together in your film?
Well, it was one of them, probably beside my daughters and my husband, it was probably one of the most life-changing experiences of my life, to embed with these women for over 2.5 years, and to really get to know them and to connect with them in such a level that they trusted me. And there were many times when it was heartbreaking, and I felt helpless, because all I could really do was continue to film them. And I couldn't help them because I couldn't change the narrative of the story. And, it was challenging, but it was also, we also had a lot of laughs and a lot of fun together. But yeah, it definitely changed my life and woke me up.
And for you as a first-time director, can you talk a little bit about not just the learning curve, but you mentioned before that you did not intend to direct this. At what point did you realize I'm directing this movie, and what was that like?
Well, I kept interviewing directors, and for some reason I would just find something wrong with them. And I think that I just wasn't looking at what was right in front of me, which was that I had already had an emotional connection with these women. I had already fell in love with them. I knew that I wanted to tell the story, and so I think that I just was in denial for a while, while I continued to shoot footage without having a director. So Yeah, I mean, it was definitely it was a learning curve, you know, to be a first-time director and to have, you know, this responsibility in your hands to really tell the story of these women in a way that, you know, invokes humor and tragedy and sadness and all those emotions that you feel couched in this really sort of great competition. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting and wonderful.
Do you have any intentions of directing again, or was this sort of a one-off thing for you?
I am already shooting my next doc.
Good to know. What about that format appeals to you, I guess, as a director, the documentary format?
I think because it's so raw and spontaneous, and I think you know, I mean, I at some point I'd like to direct narratives, but I think the fact that you just never know on what journey you're going to go on, and there are always going to be twists and turns, and it's never going to end up being what you think it's going to be. It's always going to be something different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my outline from before I started shooting has absolutely nothing to do with the film.
Talking to people who have seen the film, you had the premiere at South by Southwest.
Yes.
Not just audience reactions, but reactions from veterans. What has that been like?
Overwhelming and overwhelmingly positive. And I still am humbled and shocked at the response, and so many veterans coming up to me and sharing their stories and their experiences and really thanking me. You know, thank you for telling this story. Thank you for shedding light on us. Thank you for showing the world what we've been trying to say for a very long time. And so that's been really, it's been so huge for me and has really touched my heart.
What do you hope people take away from the movie who have not seen it? I mean, there are so many problems that are facing our veterans when they come back home. What do you hope people take away from this movie?
You know, I sort of have this belief that we are all good, most of us, and we are all active, and I think we all care about our country and we care about our global community. And I think that when people see the film, without question, they automatically ask me, what is my take action? What can I do to help? And I'm just like, find a veterans, you know, group in your community that you're passionate about. You know, look at Final Salute, like, you know, talk to veterans, you know, really find out how you can help. And I get asked that question more than any other after people see the film. What can I do? You know. Mm-hmm. And then there's the whole component about, you know, creating new legislature, you know, sort of opening the doors so there are more programs for women versus having women fit into a man's world.
One final question, because I'm curious. Where are these women now? Do you keep up with them? Have you any plans to return to their stories as a follow-up?
Well, we've been doing a lot of screenings all over the place. And these women have become my family. And I speak to them all the time. I'm happy to report that some really great things have come to them from the film and without the film. I think the movie brought them together as a sisterhood and a tribe, and that will never be taken away from them. And I love them, and you know, they will always have a part in my life.
I'm certainly glad to hear that. Lysa Heslov, thank you so much. I know you've got to go. I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good